So what is true self-care? How to actually build these true self-care practices? Well, you start with, we talked about shifts in your mind and understanding about self-care, but then you start with practical, simple steps that work for you, and by doing the small, even baby steps, you start building habits that become patterns and behaviors that you incorporate in your daily life, and these habits and practices help you to keep your energy, attention, your focus, your strength on the level that sustains you, that helps you to carry out your roles, whether it's a professional role or personal role or both. Carry them and continue carrying them without burning out. And as I teach about self-care, and I emphasize that it's a holistic approach towards self-care, which means we take you, person, as a whole, I often bring up an analogy of a garden. I remember thinking about self-care and how I want to teach about it, and I remember just having this amazing vision of a garden. When we walk into a garden, it's something beautiful, and we realize we are in the garden, but in the garden there are many different things. There are trees, there are bushes, there are plants, there are flowers, there are just, I don't know, different plants or just grass, but it's all of it makes it a garden. And garden as a whole is a beautiful thing. But inside the garden, all these different plants require different types of care. You need to pull out the weeds, you need to prune your trees, you need to water, you need to provide enough light and sun for some of them, and for some of them they actually need more shade. See, their needs are different, but all of them make a garden. The same is with you and with caring for yourself. Imagine yourself as a beautiful garden, and you will flourish, and your garden will blossom only if you care for yourself on each level. Only if you will provide this holistic care to yourself, you will blossom and thrive. Remember about it. So what are holistic self-care basis or basic things you can do? They're obviously unknown to us, and of course in the physical area you need to make sure you eat properly, a healthy diet, nourishing diet. You need to make sure you get enough sleep, and you need to make sure you move your body. It's simply put, but we know these basics, and in a way we try to practice them, and maybe this area is taken care of. But what about your emotional world? How well do you take care of your emotions? How well you understand your emotions? How easy you are with your emotions? What about your mental health? What about setting some goals, reaching these goals? What about reading some books? What about learning new skills? What about challenging yourself and stretching your mind? What about your social life? Self-care is impossible in isolation. I always say that, and your social life, your relational life matters big time. What about meaningful relationships? Do you take care of relationships in your life? Social dimension is very important. What about your spiritual life? Are you asking yourself some important life-changing questions and seeking for answers? Are you living out your purpose? Are you serving others? All of this is self-care. Even though it may not sound like it, even though it may not seem like self-care, it actually is. If you want to approach yourself as a beautiful garden, remember there are different plants that grow in that garden, and they all require different type of care, and they all need this care on every level. Remember that, and really try to look at self-care now from this perspective, from this holistic perspective, and keep in mind that every area in your life requires certain type of care.